What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm here to talk about Redemption Road, directed by Mario Van Peebles. Anyway, this stars Morgan Simpson, who also co-wrote it, so it's probably a pretty personal story to him. But anyway, he plays a guy who used to be in a blues band, but he froze up on stage one night, and the crowd was really rough on him for it. He never got his nerve back to go up and perform. He still has that music bug inside of him, and he wants to perform, but he just doesn't have the nerve to do it. After that as well, he had relationship problems. He fell into heavy debt. He became, started really getting into alcohol abuse. So his life is really on a downward spiral. And speaking of the debt collector is played by Luke Perry, who's this crazy, angry redneck. And the issue is that Morgan Simpson also happens to be not only heavily in debt to Luke Perry, but he's also sleeping with his wife, which opens up a whole nother can of worms. Just when things are kind of at rock bottom for him, and he knows that Luke Perry's going to come around calling in the debt, and also that he knows that he's been with his wife, so he's going to be coming for blood pretty soon. He gets approached by Michael Clark Duncan, who says, "Hey, one of your relatives passed away. Come pick. It's a pretty hefty road trip to come sign for the inheritance and pick it up, but I think you should do it." And the guy's like, "No, I'm not gonna. No way." But whenever Luke Perry comes looking for him, he's like, "Hey, maybe I will go out of town for a little while." And so that's the premise of this movie, is that these, Michael Clark Duncan and Morgan Simpson go on this road trip, and, just kind of, whatever. They're on their way to get the inheritance, but maybe, just maybe, they'll get a little bit more than the inheritance out of it, right? So anyway, this is a little too feel-good, inspirational for me. It was a little too preachy. It does have a little bit of religion to it, but not much. It's definitely not heavy-handed, and even if you don't like religion in your movies, I don't think there's enough of it here to really steer you away from it. It also deals a lot with addiction and makes references to, AA and that kind of, the steps and the process of that. But these are elements that are kind of on the fringe, but they are there and part of the narrative. The main thing is just, as you'd expect from a movie called Redemption Road, is about the road to redemption. And again, for me, it was just a little too predictable and cliched. And I'm not really a movie about the kind of movie guy that wants to see people get redeemed anyway. Unless it's a really good story. And this is a decent story, but it's just not that great. I think the main thing this movie has going for it is the cast. It's got Michael Clark Duncan, it's got Tom Skerritt, Taryn Manning, Luke Perry. Luke Perry is great in this. He's like, the rest of the movie is kind of even-handed, and then he just comes in with this wild, crazy redneck performance. It's really fun to watch. Everybody else is kind of understated, even Michael Clark Duncan. But then you have Morgan Simpson, who's just a really bad lead. I didn't like his performance at all. I think if they'd have had a better, more skilled actor in his place, then maybe this movie would have been a little bit more worth watching. But as it is, he kind of, is an albatross around the neck of Redemption Road, in that it can never really take off because you never really like him, you don't care if things turn around, and just the performance just kind of drags the whole movie down. Another group that this movie may appeal to is people who are interested in the blues or kind of music-driven movies, because they do make a lot of stops along the way to listen to the blues and trying to coax him into performing again. So there are some positives to this movie. I think the main people that will be interested are either people that just like movies that are about music and especially about the blues, people who are fans of Michael Clark Duncan, and then people who like a feel-good, inspirational, redemption story. It wasn't for me, but I can see why some other people might like it. The DVD is from Freestyle Media. It's got a trailer, and it looks okay for what it is. I mean, it's a standard definition movie. It doesn't look fantastic, but it looks, more than solid. So if you're interested in it, you can pick it up there. It's also available in digital as well. So that's my review of Redemption Road. If you want to read my full write-up, I don't know why the dog's barking, you can go to markfusion.com and check that out. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at markfusion if you want to follow me there. Oh my god. And then I'm also on Letterboxd at Mark Fusion if you want to check that out. I diary what I've been watching there, and you can get an idea of what might be coming here. But the best way is always to help me out is just to hit that sub button. It's a free, easy, direct way to support me. Help me to keep making these videos, and help me from falling into deep debt and, sleeping with Luke Perry's wife. Nobody wants that, so I certainly don't want that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do greatly appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon.